Introducing Denis, who's
77 years old.
So, how long, Denis, have you been using a computer and the internet, would you say?
7 or 8 years.
Right. And what prompted you to get started?
Well, about 10 years ago, I suppose it is, I wanted to send emails, and I had an Amstrad telephone. I bought an Amstrad telephone which you could send emails through.
Yeah.
And I found that I could get onto the internet, but it's certain bits of it, and I was quite interested. And I thought, I wonder if I could find out my ancestry.
Yeah.
So I tried to get through into it, and it only went so far, and that was it, because it wasn't really powerful enough. So anyway, that was that. And then I found Mrs. Mackay next door,
Mm-hmm.
and she's about 15 years older than me. Had bought a computer, and she could use it. So I thought, well, if she can use it, I can. So I got one.
What do you use your computer most for now then,
Well,
Denis?
I started off with emails, as I said before, but also the reason I got it for the ancestry, which I have done, as far as I can go.
Right.
It's going to cost too much money if I go any further, because I've gone right through the census, right back to the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
But since then I've found Skype on it.
Right, right.
And I can get in touch with friends and Bob's family in America through
Right.
Skype, and it's wonderful. It's like somebody's talking to you, actually sitting talking to you. And
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Because you can see them on the screen as well as being able to speak
And the
to
reason
them.
I got that is because a friend of mine was telling me, it was just after Christmas, he said, it was wonderful. He said, I was watching my grandchildren undoing their Christmas presents in Canada.
Right.
That you can find anything you want. I buy things, you know, through Amazon and
Yeah.
the telephone.
The phone, right,
Yep.
right. And did you get that cheaper than you would have
They're
locally, do you think?
about the same price, but you
Right.
can get cheaper things.
Uh-huh.
But also I've used it for like at Christmas time and times like that. I've ordered food from Sainsbury's and various places, given the address where they've got to go to. These are the presents, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very handy. And if ever I'm disabled, I can always order food, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which I hope I never have. But I could do if I
Yes.
wanted to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons. And also, I mean, you can look up anything, words, anything, people you want, like film star on the television.
Yeah.
You know, wonder about him and where he is and whether he's alive or dead, and it tells you all about him. It's amazing.
Mm.
And the man came along and plonked it in and didn't tell me anything. Oh my
Yes.
goodness! I just had to find out myself.
Right.
It was rather difficult to start with.
Right.
And I was rather lucky because years ago I used to use a keyboard, so I didn't have to bother about that. I
Right.
just had to
Yeah.
try and work out. I taught myself how to use it,
Right.
more or less. I have a friend who had one, and I asked him a few questions, and he told me that it's not to worry about things, because I used to worry.
Yeah. What about breaking it or
Yeah,
something?
breaking it and doing things wrong, and
Yeah.
not, you know, didn't know how to get them right again and things like that. But he said not to worry. He said that's the way you think about it, and he said, and eventually it just comes to you, and it has done.
Right.
Just a few things where I ask you about
Yeah.
questions, you know.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I'm all right.
Okay. So having
And-
somebody nearby that, or to call on that does know how to use it
Yeah.
is a big help. Yeah. So I suppose it's easier for folk now because there's a lot more courses and things
That's
on at the
right,
library
yes.
and sessions.
Well, there wasn't
that
any
people,
when I started, as far
Yeah.
as I know there wasn't.
Yeah.
Um,
So the fact that you've got to this stage where you're emailing people daily and you're on Skype
Oh,
and
yes,
you're
I'm quite
looking up the
confident.
internet, you know, if you and I can do it, then
Yeah.
anyone can do it. Okay, so what would you say, Denis, then to folk who may be thinking, nah, it's too difficult, or I'm too old, or it costs too much? You know, what?
Well, I'd say get it straight away. I said for the simple reason, no matter how old you are, it keeps your mind active anyway. Let's just start with.
Right.
And eventually everything is going to become computerized. I mean, like banks and
Uh-huh.
even like electricity bills and gas bills. And It's all done on can be done on the computer.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And as I said, if you're an older person and you're sick, you can order the food through the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
That's what I'd say.
Yep. Good stuff.